Hello students, and we're getting into the conic section. You should have already worked with circles, and now we're getting into ellipses. As I said in the last video, basically the reason why it's called the conic section is because it's based off of the shape of a cone. If you take a cone and slice it different directions, you slice it just basically parallel to the base, you get a circle. Slightly askew there, going from one side to the other side, you get an ellipse, and that's basically what we're getting into now. If you go all the way down to the base, you get a parabola and a hyperbola. You're probably wondering, when are we going to use conic sections, or what's the purpose of it? Well, the way that sound waves come out, if you think of a jet flying and it hits the sonic boom, the speed of sound, it lets out this sound, and the sound starts at a central location and it just kind of goes out and gets a shape of a cone. So sound waves, you can think of that. Light, if you take your flashlight, even from your cell phone, and then shine it, if you go directly at the wall, it's going to be a circle. If you're going to be slightly askew there, it's going to be an ellipse. If you kind of go a little bit more, parallel with the wall, or I'm sorry, yeah, perpendicular with the wall, it's going to be a parabola. So there's definitely different shapes there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. If you haven't already printed this out from the notes, please do so. This is every important thing that you need here. Here's the equation. Here's the center. Here's the vertices. It doesn't ask too many questions about the vertices, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. But it does ask for the focus or the foci, as you can see here. So definitely write down these two formulas. You're definitely going to need that. Again, H and K represents the center. The nice thing I believe about all the problems I've given you today, the center is 0, 0. So you have very little work with that, but you will have to be able to find C, and we'll get into that. First of all, let's take a look at this. One major component that you need to identify is look at the denominator. Whichever denominator is larger, in this case, this fraction is larger, that means it's going to be more left and right. It's going to be a elongated ellipse, just like this one. If the y value, the y fraction, had the larger one, it's going to be more up and down. So notice here, if A is bigger than B, it's going to be more left and right. If A is bigger than B, but A is on this one, it's going to be more up and down. So whichever denominator is larger, that's going to determine if it's going left and right or up and down, which direction the ellipse. So looking at this one, I know this one's going to go more left and right. So it's either going to be A or C. I know that much. Now, I'm actually going to open up this one just to kind of look at the, oh, and that's not the answer. Let me just check it. If you look at the A value, this says A squared. So really the A value is 9. If you start from the center, and the center again is 0, 0, because there's no H and K value. If you count left and right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It does go left and right 9, but if you count up and down, the B value should be 4. And if you count up and down, 1, 2, 3, 4, it should be up here at this region. So C is not the answer. Let's take a look at A. It does go left and right 9. So from the center, count left 9, right 9. From the center goes up 4, down 4. So A is the solution on this one. Easy to identify. The hardest part about this is what's the foci, and so let me get my marker out here. So the foci, just again, remember, I'm going to kind of point out some things here. Just don't forget this formula. Let me get my pen here. So it's going to be C squared equals A squared minus B squared. Really, it's just always the larger denominator minus the smaller denominator. So it's 81 minus 16. Let me grab my calculator for that. So 81 minus 16, I get 65. So C squared equals the square root of 65. Oh, just a sec. I can't do the square root yet. 65, there you go. And the way that you get rid of the squared is you take the square root, and it will be plus minus square root of 65. 65, I'm trying to think, will it simplify? I don't believe it does now. 5 and 13 are both prime, so it does not break down. All right, so looking at this here, how do we write the foci out? Well, the foci, I'm going to move this up just a little bit. Oh, let me get rid of that screen. So if you remember what it said there at the top, it said h minus c k, h plus c, and then k. And the nice thing again about this one is the h and the k value are zeros. This is the c value. So in this case, it's going to be 0 minus the square root of 65. So in this one's going to be negative square root of 65, 0. This one's going to be positive square root of 65, 0. And that's the solution there. You don't have to do too much more work on this. Just do notice, though, if you do have a ellipse going up and down, you do it to the y value. You do k plus c and then k minus c, and you get the value there. All right, it's going to take me some time to type it in. So let me get everything set up. Square root of 65. Don't forget to put a comma in between. And, oh, I can't put that on the inside. I think I got everything checked out there. Oh, yep, my first one's right. I forgot the negative on this one. Go all the way back to the beginning there. Negative. And there's my solution. And really, that's the same work on each one. I'll do one more just as a quick example here. So as you can see from this, the center is still 0, 0. Y is bigger, so since y is bigger, it's going to go more up and down. So that means it's either going to be C or D. And it should be going 2 left and right, 8 up and down. Remember, this is a squared and b squared. I'm going to think it's this one, but let me look at this picture. It is 2 left and right, start from the center, 2 left, 2 right. I did that backwards, 2 left, 2 right, and then 8 up and 8 down, so that is the correct answer. Now, let me go back. I want to look at the foci on this again. So the foci will go h, k plus c, h, k minus c. So whenever we go through and solve this, let me get a different color here. It will be h, k plus c. Oh, I don't need that in there. H, k minus c. And, oh, I need to check my answer on this one. Good job. Now I just got to write out the foci. Again, I have to do a little bit of work. And again, it's just always the larger number minus the smaller number. In this case, 64 minus 4. If you want to write out the long way of this, of just going 8 squared minus 2 squared and then work it out, it's going to give you the same thing. So in this case, it's going to be c squared equals 60, or c equals the square root of 60. Just a sec. The square root of 60 simplify. Oh, let me check that. It does break down to, let me get a perfect square here, 4 times 15. And we know what the square root of 4 is. Square root of 4 is 2. So do pay attention that you may have to simplify some radicals. So they will expect you to do that. Again, what's nice about this one is that the h and k is 0, so I don't have much work on that. So on this, it's going to be 0 square root of 15. I'm sorry, 2 square root of 15. And again, you guys are probably faster at typing this in than I am. 0. Just don't forget the negative on this one, negative 2 square root of 15. Let me close that, check answer, and then there's my solution. All right, take your time. Again, these are ellipses. We're just kind of identifying all the important characteristics of it. The next lesson will be how to graph them. We'll get into hyperbolas. And again, we're leading up to a project for the end of the year that I hope that you will enjoy. Thank you. Have a good day.